Jason gonna be first up versus, who is it? Actually, Jason, I know you pressed on a drone rush right now. Is this Squirrel? I like your mog. I like your look with a hat and everything. I like the whole duster you got going on. I like it a lot. It's gonna be Jason opening up on DMCS in the opener. There goes the Pally back in, boys. The Pallies are back, and it's going to be Jason trying to see if you can squall these Paladins out. You don't have to press a drone rush before you open up, by the way, Jason. Since the tier set that we have, it does let you flip a coin. We actually want to use it almost like an offensive button, so you don't want to use it pre-stealth anymore. Not a thing anymore. You almost want to just kind of open up with a cheap shot. A drone rush goes to strike immediately for the huge opener. Does get himself the kill spree off of that cheap shot. Is going to try to see if he can build some damage. Pre-Cloak of Shadows to make sure the Paladin cannot stop him. The Paladin, however, is still able to slow him, even though past Cloak of Shadows. Hard does come through. Is going to take a little bit of damage. Blind right after. Looks like DMC is trying to play defensively. Does so for a second. Is going to be able to stop some of Paladin's damage. Unless he land a kick here. I think he does get hit with a blind. He does get hit by that Searing Glare. Wake of Ashes is going to get the rogue out in the open. Smoke Bomb for a second. Catches himself a resell for a moment. Evasion, which also most likely comes with a DR here as well, actually. So not that bad of an idea. Is going to grapple in before the dots have set in for the Paladin, who's got himself a Dawn Light. But I don't think he has a dot over onto Jason. Try to see if he gets some damage happen. Final wreck is an opportunity, but the rogue is so fast. The rogue is so quick, trying to make sure he doesn't stay anywhere near DMCS, who is going to go for a couple of casts. A drone rush is in play. Lots of damage. Probably going to pop something out of the Paladin. There goes a Blessed Protection with Jason with the grapple out. Does eat a fairly strong dot with Dawnlight. I wonder if he has another grapple hook available. Catches a restealth. Bob comes off. I don't know if he was close enough to maybe land a kick. Because if you land a kick and maybe get some damage in, Killing Spree coming up very, very soon, actually. So maybe can make something work here. Possibly, potentially. For DMCS, he does, I think, still has Lay on Hands. Definitely has Bubble, but I'm pretty sure he also has Lay on Hands. So he might use Lay on Hands and then Bubble for later. So for Jason, he just got to be very careful. Disarm is available. Cloak in 30 seconds. Trinket very, very soon as well. So you actually get yourself a decent setup here, potentially. Maybe something you could work off of. Cheap shot. Building up a little bit of damage. Trinket out for DMCS immediately. For Jason, honestly, not a bad idea just to catch himself a restealth if possible. Blind onto the Pally before he can land those dots. And the Rogue is looking for that subtlety type of gameplay to go for hit and runs. He's got a cooldown on DMCS. It's no worth just fighting him while he is on stun DRs. Because the Rogue is basically out in the open. So for DMCS, he still has a bubble. He could use the bubble offensively just to see if he can drop some damage with Jason. The big opener by the Rogue. Huge burst like he's a subtlety. Killing Spirit after. Blind to follow. You do have a Trinket. Break it out of it really, really quickly. Gouge for a second. Vanish to follow. Potentially picking up a lot of damage. It's going to be Cloak of Shadows by the Rogue. DMCS might have to go for a bubble right now. There goes the bubble. Jason does not have an easy out, but grapple hooks are available. And he's got himself second one to go behind the pillar. At the very least, the Rogues have an escape. And DMCS got himself lots of movement, but the Rogue got plenty more movement than you do. So it is going to be able to slow him down by a decent bit. Trying to catch himself a restealth. Grapple yet again. The Chamber, however, does follow through with a bit of a first aid by the Rogue. Has evasion, so it could be a pre-evasion some of this damage. But he definitely does not want to get hit. Does get hit with the Wake of Ashes. Unfortunately, no pre-feint for the stun or anything. And DMCS follows up with a Searing Glare. Evasion for the Rogue is all he has. But look at the damage is burning through a health bar. For the Rogue right now, there's just not much he can do. Can shot onto DMCS, but he has to play super defensive. That Dawnlight, however, is going to rot him from behind the pillar. I don't even know if he's going to be able to be alive here. Maybe, I was thinking maybe he can catch himself a restealth, but that dot, that she death, I think it's over, right? Pretty sure it's over. Yeah, Pally just got to put that dot on Rogue once, and that's it. You could literally just AFK for 1 or 2, I think. That is so rough, man. The Rogue is like going for those resets, get it to cool down to one immunity, to the next immunity, and Pally just got it. As long as he gets that Dawn Light, he wins. It is so tough, man. It's just so rough. That Dawn Light dot is huge damage over time, man. It's so consistent. Super consistent. Squirrel trying to see if he can make some kind of a play. Does trick out of the CC. DMC has left with no immunities, but does himself still a Lay on Hands. Does Squirrel have any follow-up damage here? It looks like he got himself some procs, but unless he has DMCS out in the open with black arrows and rapid fires, just unable to crack through a Shield of Vengeance, really. with a short stun onto the MCS, but he's got himself the dots on the Hunter too. And as long as he keep in that Dawn Light, he's going to be A-okay. Boo on my job, charges right in with DMCS still holding his own, so somebody's got to find a way to take him down so the rest of Team 2 actually gets a chance to play. Boo rushes in with Avatar, full cooldowns, everything available, knowing that the Pally does not have immunity anymore. Unless he got Leon Hands coming up sometime soonish. I think he might just take him out right here, right? I think he has to commit everything. He has to set everything in. Literally, Fear just to hold the Pally in place. It's going to land the quick execute. Did have to burn defensives and offensives to try to see if he can win this. Well, Palm going to be up next, charging in over at Boo. Leap in by Boo, as he's going to go for a leap of his own. Able to stay barely away from Palm. Is going to go for a disarm. Disarm right after. And as long as Boo, as long as he's taking some damage, he's not going to be able to get that second wind heal. But that waterfall, though, that waterfall down the middle is giving him some breather. Look at that second wind. That's perfect. It's exactly what he needs. Literally bounce up just so you can reposition behind the pillar super quickly, which is exactly what he really needed there, honestly. Palm is chilling behind the pillar, kind of just waiting for Boo at this point. He's like, you know what? I got cooldowns. I just need to find a good angle to eventually catch him, but this man is slippery. Using every trick he can in order to stay alive as long as possible. These two are literally moving at the same movement speed. Unless you have mount, I think it's mount equipment to, unless they disable mount equipment in PvP. So unless you have mount equipment that lets you move faster while mounted, I don't think you'll be able to catch him. Unless, like I said, maybe it's disabled in PvP in general, and it might be. Might be. I'm pretty sure when you're like in Twin Peaks, you can't just like walk over water while mounted. I'm not sure. I'll need to double check. I'll need to double check. As a rogue, I'm usually never mounted because I'm literally moving faster. Wait, did the spear connect? Wait, what happened to the spear? I feel like the game just literally ate your spear. I think the boxes ate your spear. That should have definitely speared him, but it just went nowhere. I am not sure what happened. Chat, where did that spear go? Did the box eat the spear? Was some Amazon shipment box? That spear went through. Look, that spear was sent. The other got eaten by the Amazon shipment box, man. It's gonna ship down into like Howling Fjord or something. What is happening? What is going on? Is that a mimic? Is that box a mimic just ate his spear? What is happening? Palm, I feel like because of the lack of the spear, couldn't lock down Boo when he needed to. And it looks like he's going to be going down. Does have enraged regen unless my UI is not working correctly, which I don't think it is. I don't think it's working correctly for enraged regen. Otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty sure he pressed it. Pretty sure he did use it at some point. There's just no way. Fear onto Purple Haze is going to be dropping down a big old Infernal down behind the pillar with a stun onto Boo. Hits him with a quick Fear. Now here's the one getting hit with a quick Boo, but a Chaos Bolt does not connect, letting that Zerker Rage kind of not be used. Actually, I didn't think he even had Zerker Rage. I think it was the Fear DR'd out. But that Fear literally lined inside of you, away from that Chaos Bolt, which is perfect. It is going to be behind the pillar with those pets. At least he can press Bloodthirst while behind the pillar. That Infernal is not going to feel good, but on those pets, at least he can get some damage out. Purple Haze able to get some damage over time on him. Trying to land another Fear. Boo, at the very least, can maybe get some healing off of that pet. Whatever healing you can is going to be helpful. You won't be able to completely escape the damage for second wind healing, but Bloodthirst is still helping. Not much, but it's better than nothing. It's like maybe, what, 2% healing? 1%? 0.4? Dampening is pretty high with 45% dampening, so it's like barely not getting any healing anyway. Maybe can wait until a big impending victory, but he's definitely going to need to make sure he got himself a clean go. Potential with a spear, Avatar. He won't be able to stop any kind of CC like a Mortal Coil or a Shot of Fury, unfortunately. So he's got to be very careful. I think he's just going to wait out to see if he can maybe kill the pet. He's got himself in Rage Regen too. That's coming up very, very soon. Quick Fear into Purple Haze. Picking up whatever heals he can. The Succubus is dead, actually, so you won't have the Succubus to help him out. Blaze him to try to see if he can stop any Mortal Coil, so Purple Haze has to delay it for a second. Wall is down. Stunned before he can go for a Mortal Coil. He can still Mortal him. He's going to go for a quick port. Leap is available. Mortal Coil. But I think Boo might have had himself a Reflect there too. But still might be able to land a Mortal Coil. Definitely needs to get himself a new pet. Mortal Coil. Shot of Fury. Fear is going to get Zerkers though. Tried to go for a bolt, but I think it's just over. Did himself Reflect last second. And I think Reflector conflagration just enough damage with a bit of damage of his own. Reflex, however, is going to be up next. Immediate disarm, but he just needs to get the army going. Boo does pick up a trinket, but he's just surrounded by the army of undeads, trying to see if he can walk away from as many of them as possible, especially that big old A-bomb. Whatever he can line his sight and not be fighting, he might be okay, but it's just way too much pressure. I think he's going to be going down here. It's just way too much pressure with the diseases, with the dots, everything available. Range damage with Kevin going to be up next, though, as Rip is just going to try to see if he could rip him out in the open, drop a dome, and take whatever momentum he has onto Kevin. But Kevin's pets are doing work, though. Both Death Knights are taking a lot of hits, though. But Reflex is without IBF barely alive. Deathspec right after, rotating everything he can, just trying to see if he can live. Kevin has defense in case he is, so he's just going to take the pressure and momentum and keep it going. Demoniac catches him immediately. Is going to be the undead Ghoul. Catches a quick gnaw, stun. And Kevin with the IBF, Lichborn, every defensive available, does not have Death Strikes, unfortunately, with an evasion by the Rogue. Not that he can really Death Strike that evasion super well. At least I don't think so. But yeah, I think it's just lights for him. Lacry is the last one left over the team one, charging out a Demoniac. Demoniac with a Cloak of Shadows. Let's see where randomly fed on him. Let's see, he's gonna pick him up immediately. Oh, employ that point. Yeah, let's do one of those, yeah? Let's do one of those. Sap out for Lacry, or onto Lacry, but I think he's the one who picked up the eye, right? Lacry picking up the eye. Demoniac does not have defenses, but he does have offensive power. I think he still win as a rogue. He has a trinket, so whoever's going to get the most damage during the trinket is going to be the winner here. Lacry with an evasion does get a death mark onto Demoniac. We got a blind. So Demoniac is taking some damage, but not the most amount of damage. Lacry needs to get back over there onto Demoniac with a cheap shot. Just make sure the dots are in. Maybe Kingsman on top of it. Does get hit with the disarm. Disarm back onto Demoniac to try to control the duel as best as possible. And just trying to go for a shiv. Demoniac, I think, might be done for the count here. He's got death mark of his own onto Lacry, but he's just rotting still himself. And Lacry does get the kill. Well done, well done. Boo does pick up 3. Well done, well done. They hate how to play like a complete rat. Yeah, dude, honestly, yeah. Like, you definitely do have to play a little rat as a warrior. That's what happens when you have a class that just doesn't have a lot of healing.